tippylovesyou.com.
It's time to relax. It's time to find a quiet place. Close your eyes and drift away. It's time to unhook the ego pipes and dive deep into the psyche. It's time to unravel. It's time for Tippy. Exercise 1. You find yourself lying on your back on a grassy English hillside on a late summer's evening. Feel the cool grass beneath your hands. Take a long, slow, deep breath. Good. You can smell the green grass and honeysuckle, with just a hint of summer rain on the warm breeze. What a lovely, lazy day. And now it's time to relax. The sun is sinking low, making a vibrant array of colors across the sky, turning the clouds purple and red and yellow and on fire, and the clouds catch the colors everywhere. Take another deep breath. Try to fill your lungs with the splendor of this moment in your life. Gold dust in ventricles blurring in the half-light. This might be with you forever, or it might be a scene which slips away completely and leaves only the tiniest, most minuscule smear across the trajectory of your existence. But it's okay. It's fine. Everything here is good. You can barely remember the harrowing and humiliating ordeal of trudging through the working week, all collared stiff with filthy residuals and clock-watching hour-minute drips. No. Only this bucolic reverie on this lovely hill. Green grass of wonder, red sky bruise of twilight's last gleaming. As the first few stars start to become visible across the magical hour, a passing plastic bag catches your eye. It's caught on the breeze, tumbling and twisting in the air, spiraling up and over you. It's a classic white and red bag. On one side it says thank you several times, and on the other there is a smiley face and the name of a grocery store. You watch it carried by the gentle drafts that waft up the hill. See it swoop low now and roll across the grass for a minute, then back into the air caught on a thermal. And you can feel what that bag is like, all crisp white and crinkle sides. And then you are the bag. 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 You're a plastic carrier bag caught on the breeze. And you're off, sailing through the magical air of dusk. And you can forget your troubles here. You can forget your friends all left behind. Forget that crippling emptiness you feel inside. It's just you, lighter than air, as free can be. Diving low, racing across the grass, then back up twirly turns over the hedgerow. Free at last. Oh, but here's trouble. There's a row of trees ahead. This will be close. You have no control of this form. You're a plastic carrier bag with a smiley face and some thank yous. And so you must pray. Pray to the gods that you will be lifted over these trees and into the next field, golden majestic in the dying light. Here it comes now, this thorny row of grabbing branches like witches' fingers, trying to pluck you from the air. Rise now. Rise. Here it comes. No. You're stuck. You're stuck in a tree with coarse, crumbly branches hooking through your handles and a prominent branch prodding into your nethers from beneath. The wind tries in vain to urge you forward, but only sends a few fluttering ripples across your sides, rasping thinly like the dying fart of a lonesome rodent. And how empty it feels, how utterly devoid of content you are now, not even puffed with air. You're flat as a sheet, pathetic, a withered flower on this bitter vine. Feel that flatness. feel that uselessness. How you long for the times when you were filled up, full to the brim once with vital shopping, after you left the garrison for the first time, full to the very tippy top you were, with groceries of all kinds. And oh, if they could have seen you then, in your prime, almost overflowing with bounty, but doing well, doing so well to hold it all in. Magnificent days. And after that, there was the time you were used for laundry, and then lodging with some other bags from other places for a long while before your last assignment, conveying a casserole in a dish from one person's house to another, whereafter you slipped the coop and flew free for majestic days, bounding through the suburbs and out onto the plains. And here we are, torn and empty, arrested in this wooded hell. And then, without warning, there is suddenly something inside of you. Some small thing is bouncing about, little feet hopping up and down the length of you, pressed up against this tree branch. It's a bird. A little sparrow has bounded inside and is caught like you are caught. The sparrow is caught inside you, trapped within the trapped. It hops all about, probing pathetically at your edges, and you feel its panic, feel how light it is, how even your flimsy form makes a prison for it, and it leaps about in desperation. And then you are the bird. 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 And there is panic, and only panic. You're digging into the corner of this bag now. Got to get out. Got to be outside of here. Got to get through. Push. Push. Got to fly. Flappy, flappy frenzy. Oh, my skies. Soft wing lapping at the whitey-white enclosing. And the bag comes loose on its snare, pushed free of the clinging branches, and you plummet like a stone in a sock. Like a comet you fall out of the tree, through the twigs and leaves, and you bounce onto the undergrowth, and you are all a daze, and the world goes dark. You awaken in the jaws of a cat. An old grimalkin, shaggy long hair, cinnamon, chocolate tortoiseshell she is, weathered and defiant. Her few remaining teeth are strong, but feel how she holds you gently in her jaws as she pads across the crepuscular lawn. Pad, 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 she strides bouncy through the shadows, and you bob up and down with her. Your feathers are pushed back the wrong way, and one wing feels twisty. Probably not coming back from this. Probably no more flying now. There's a house here with a little door in the door. and the cat pushes through the little door, and now you're inside. Smoky smells and lavender. Cat smell. Funny, always scared of cat smell, but you're covered in it now, and it's not so bad. Gentle kitty, gentle teeths pushing into the softling of your underfeathers. You do not know her after all. Bouncy down a hallway, and now you're in a little warm room with a big fire in the hearth and an old lady in a chair watching the space above the flames. The cat drops you on the floor and you land on your side, and your wing does a little twitchy movement that pushes you back and forth only a tiny bit, and the old lady doesn't notice. Feel the warm glow of the fire radiating through your tiny hollow bones. The cat sits and watches the woman. The woman is lost in thought. Her eyes are glassy, and you see the flames reflected there. She's thinking about time. She's thinking about some things that happened long ago, and how curious it is that she was then that, and is now this, and soon will be something else. You watch her eyes, and you see how very still she is, and yet how much moves inside. And then you are inside. You are her. You are that old lady, and the remembering comes in all at once and is overwhelming. You remember in seasons that feel like chapters in a book you read 1,000 years before. That spring when you and Jane and Harry had gone over to the Westbrook and stolen a bottle of wine, then met with Jonah and the rest and walked down by the river and across the fields there. And that Daniel had chased you round with a handful of ice cubes, and you liked that Daniel, but he was with that girl whose name you forget, so you didn't say anything. But then, months later, on the beach at Sandford, you were with him again, and he kissed you under the pier, and you felt like you might wet yourself. Where was Daniel now? Gone overseas, wasn't it? Something with his sister in Japan, wasn't it? And you think about how all those friends have dissipated across the world and beyond, and you think about Jerry and the kids and the cats and all those years, all those chapters, and you think about how they're all gone away now, and it's okay. And it's just you and the cat now, in this house whose walls once echoed with joy and anger. But mostly you think about the girl at the party. Back in 69, maybe 70. Before Jerry, anyhow. Before any of them. It was crowded and loud and everyone being silly, but it was okay, just a party. And some man you didn't know was clowning around. You remember that? Right before you saw her. across the room, staring at you, that face, with green eyeshadow and dots along her cheekbones, indigo and green, like an alien she was. Blunt locks, pixie cut, tucked behind the pointed ears. Like a space-aged flapper girl from the future she was. The way she looked at you made you uncomfortable in the most exquisite way you'd ever know. An emotional whirl. And the way she looked made you feel so ordinary, so drab, with your sensible skirt and nice girl hair slides. But the way she looked at you made you feel something else completely. Another girl came over to her, kissed her on the cheek, and said something into her ear, and from the corner of your eye, you watched them head toward the door. And then they were gone. Behind all the year's end drunkies and half-dancing revellers, the pale and earthbound. And a second later, that creature was by your side, close enough to touch, and she said to you, like she'd known you for always, she said to you the words you never forgot. She said, "We're going down to the arches. You should come." But you were afraid, and you didn't take that chance. You never took that chance. You shrugged, and you told her you were okay, thanks, with your heart racing and everything shimmering all over. "I'm okay, thanks." And she shrugged a little, still with that smile that you would never forget until the day you die. And then she was gone for good, like a wisp of smoke, vanished like we all vanish. And you think about that moment as it's kept with you all these years, like a secret locket that you wore that no one could see. And how when you go, that moment, that locket will be gone too, and you feel the ache in your old bones and your old heart, and you wander in the winter of your life, lost in the deep fogs of remembrance. Time's quarry all within reach everywhere. Time, the great destroyer, the merciless unraveler, entropy's champion. And you think about time, and you think about what that means, and then you are freed from the shackles of physical form, and then you are time. You are time, and you are infinite and finite, the uncaused cause, the tumultuous force that surges inescapably through the microscopic and the colossal. And the nature of this transfiguration sends great waves of majestic wonderment through every part of your being. For now you are always being, never been, never to be, only present, encompassed entirely by the nowness of now. You are in perpetual soft explosion everywhere, and yet for all your vitality, there is no violence or hysteria, just an unimaginably immense sense of surging forwards, on and on, with no end. the brim and overflowing beyond form with the future of all things, the unbounded universe, and you are exalted by fate like a god. Yet somehow you remain in essence, incomplete, perpetually unfinished, bound only to continue on for eternity in this singular drive forward, in the ever-vanishing transience of the moment. Good night.